Hello, this is James Arthur Ray, the author of the New York Times bestseller Harmonic Wealth. I want to talk to you a little bit today about building a business. You interested? You see, there's a lot of people who want to talk to you about building a business. I believe we live in a unique time in our world history. It's a time where you can design your living around your life versus designing your life around your living. You get the difference? You see, most people design their life around their living, and that's no way to live. The fact is, you're going to spend more time earning your living than you do with the people that you love the most. Check it out. You're going to spend more time earning your living than you do with your favorite hobby or activities that you love to be engaged with. And so I say life is too short to not be doing something that you love. Does that make sense to you? Now, that being said, if you look at your Facebook feed or your Twitter feed, or you look all over the internet, or you even talk to people, everybody's got some way to help you make a lot of money, potentially in a short amount of time. I submit to you that rarely, if ever, works. And I also submit to you that prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. What do I mean? Well, how many times have I heard people attempting to recruit someone else into their network marketing business and telling them how much money they can make, or recruit them to become, learn how to be a speaker, trainer, author, and market it on the internet, or recruit them to build a business in some other model, internet marketing, or some other model that they've maybe been successful in. But you see, once again, prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. I believe we're shortchanging the process. I built a very successful company, and I was blessed to do so. I'm grateful for that. And I humbly know that it wasn't me, it was my team that made that happen. If I had any contribution, which I did, was I had the wisdom and the experience to attract and create and develop a high-performing team, because that's what it takes. But you see, if I were to work with you, the first thing I would find out is, how do you want to live your life? I would start to diagnose. In my mentoring sessions, we start at the basics. How do you want to live your life? What are your innate abilities? I've coined a term called innate ability development, and I find it's so rarely even considered in personal and spiritual development. There's no sheep dip approach. There's no panacea. It must be individualized. Does that make sense to you? Howard Gardner from Harvard University says that you are a genius in at least one, if not two areas of his 8 areas of genius. And yet, until I know what your innate abilities are, until you know what your innate abilities are, you're probably not going to leverage them, develop them, and utilize them to live a meaningful life. Does that make sense to you? So the first question is, what do you love to do? Second question, what are you uniquely good at? And by the way, innate ability, unique genius, is different than developed genius. I know individuals who have gone to school and received a bachelor's degree in financial analysis. They're really good at numbers, but they don't like numbers. They went in that direction because they had to, quote, go where the money is. I say that's a poor strategy for life and living. If you want to live that way, that's fine. But I submit to you there's a better way to live. Once again, I'm going to encourage you and mentor you and develop you to build your living around your life versus your life around your living. Get the difference? So what are you uniquely good at? In other words, what are your talents? What do you come in with that you can develop more fully, that align with your unique purpose, your contribution, what you bring to the world that is uniquely you, that I don't have and the person next to you doesn't have. And if you don't fulfill it, then there's a void in the universal plan. So how do you start a business? Well, you start with yourself. What are my innate abilities? Let me uncover those. Let me explore those. And then how can I develop those? And from that point, build a mechanism and a business. I'm not going to dive into network marketing just because someone else made money in network marketing. I'm not going to dive into internet marketing because someone else made money in internet marketing. I'm not going to listen to someone tell me to become a speaker and author when I don't have those innate abilities. Maybe I have a dream or a fantasy. I'd like to do that, but am I innately gifted? And wouldn't I be much better served to use my innate gifts, abilities, and genius and leverage those things to provide value and service to the world? That's where a business starts. And again, we live in a very exciting time where you can do this. You can. If you think you can't, please think again. You can. I don't care if it's basket weaving. There's a way. If your innate ability is handcrafts, there's a way to build a business that you can live your life the way you choose on your own terms. Now, will you make mega money? I don't know, but it doesn't really matter, because I know countless people who make mega money doing something that they don't really enjoy, and that's a life of misery, not meaning. A meaningful life is a life that says, I'm using my innate ability, something I love to do. If money were no issue, what would I do? And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to persevere, and I'm going to pay the price and let the chips fall where they may. Let me help you, because I promise you that when you live a life where you take your innate abilities and your purpose and you start to live from that perspective outward, life becomes meaningful and magical. I'll just say this. Many people have asked me, with all you've been through in the last 5 years, James, why didn't you go elsewhere? Why didn't you do something different? And frankly, in many, many ways, it would have been easier for me to fade off into the sunset and to do something different. But let me tell you why I don't and I won't. Clarity of purpose. That's it. When you know your innate abilities and you have a clarity of purpose, in other words, you know what you're here to contribute uniquely as you, and no one else can do just like you do, you don't quit, even when it's tough, even when it would be easier to do otherwise. That's my wish for you. And that's where I come from, and the people that I work with, we start at that perspective because, my commitment is to help you live a meaningful life. And that, my friend, is a life well lived. I hope I've given you some things to think about. Until we speak again, stay awake, really awake, love life, and be epic.